Okay, in this model kit review, I will be reviewing this older kit. This is the Porsche 934 by Tamiya, and it is in the 1/12 scale. It's a very large kit here, as you can see, and there's obviously going to be a lot of stuff in the box, so let's open it up and have a look inside. So I bought this online. As you can see, it's got some damage here already. It's going to need to be fixed. But here's our body with our nice wide wheel arches here, and we're going to need to fix these pillars here. The A pillar is cracked there. That's cracked. But the molding quality is really good. Typical of Tamiya. Really, there's the one mold line that you can see there. Here is our chassis, and that's nicely detailed. Looks like we've got a little part there. We'll have to remove that. We've got our wheel wells there, but nicely molded as well. So here's the nose with the classic Porsche headlights. You can see there we do have a small mold line here, but that's easy to remove. But nicely molded. Here we've got part of the front grille, and this is our rear over the engine bay, and it looks like some vents. I'm not sure what these little parts are for. Here we've got our wheels, our tires, and those are very nice soft tires, and we've got some nice tread on them. Those are really nice, well made. Okay, so let's have a look through the rest of these sprues here. So these are our seats, and they're actually quite flexible. Not what I was expecting. And that's the lower portion of the seat there. Got two racing seats. Very nice, but flexible. A little surprised about that. Now over here we have our coloured glass and some chrome parts. Those are very nicely molded there. Here you can see we've got our blinkers. Here's our red glass for brake lights and so on. Very nice details on there. And then chrome pieces for headlight buckets. And looks like probably side blinkers. These are our side mirrors and rear view mirror. Now here we've got some cord, and that's going to be used for hoses and the engine and so on. We've got some screws, and then brake air ducts there. That's quite a nice feature there. We've got some coil springs, and then some boots there. The shift lever boot looks like. We've got some grill mesh there as well. We've got a few more sprues on this side to look through. So this piece is loose, and looks like it's going to be part of probably the engine bay maybe, but very well molded. It's quite feels quite brittle, this plastic. Obviously this is an old kit. Here we've got that might be our fuel tank. We'll have to look at the instructions. Here's our part of the engine. You can see our flat 6 here, and then all engine parts. We've got our exhaust and our muffler. This might be part of our brakes. Here we've got our fan, and then that's our battery there. You can see that's the other part of the battery. They're all very nicely molded. Here at this chrome part here, we've got more engine parts. We've got our disc brakes here. These are drilled disc brakes. You can see the little holes there, and these parts go together and those parts go together. We've got lots of engine parts here. Looks like our radiator there. But all very nicely molded. A few mold lines here and there. Here is our, that part just fell off, but that's part of our seat belt clip there. And our axles there. Okay, so these next sprues here, also chrome parts, more engine parts. Here, there's our turbo, it looks like some radiator parts here, and this is part of our flat 6, but some nice detail there. And then we've got our wheels, and it's a different kind of chrome, but these parts will go together for the 4 wheels there. And then our nut, the central nut there for the hub. Okay, so now we've got a couple other black and grey sprues here to look at. So a little more flexible here, but still feels like regular styrene. Some pipes, we've got some mold lines on the side there. Now this stuff is all flexible here, which is a little strange. Not used to dealing with that. I guess some bumper parts there. That looks like that's part of our side mirrors. I guess that way they won't break as easily. And our visors. Not really sure what most of these other parts are. I'll have to look at the instructions. Here we've got the inside of the door, and there's part of the door as well, and hoses, I guess. Okay, so in this set of sprues here, we have got many more engine parts. So here's the main engine. Look at that detail. That really is amazing. Excellent quality, typical for Tamiya. And then part of our engine here, this is the flywheel, part of the engine casing. Here's our transmission, the trans axle really, because the axle comes out there. Really is amazing, the level of detail here. Lots and lots of parts. For the engine belts and so on. Over here we have more body parts. This looks like probably part of our dashboard. No, sorry, this is probably the rear. That's probably the rear. This is probably part of our dashboard here. Okay, now we're going to have a look at these sprues here. Got some more. Looks like engine parts and then body parts as well. So there's the actual dashboard. Got some disc, the brakes for they'll cover the disc brakes there. We've got a part of our turbo, and there's a handbrake. Lots of hoses. Distributor cap there, we'll put the wires on that, and then a grill. This is like the quality you get with Tamiya there. Just looking at that well molded grill. Another very well molded grill there. It's just perfect, absolutely perfect. And as I said, just tons and tons of parts. So part of our steering rack there. There's the steering column and steering wheel. Got windshield wipers there, and part of the fan, I guess, for the engine. Now these sprues here have looks like the last of the body parts, including the doors. Okay, so we've got some remaining body panel pieces here, which is our doors, the classic Porsche 911 door, both sides there, and then the hinges, I guess that's going to help them to open and close, and then our hood, the front hood. This is part of our roll cage here, lots of parts here for the roll cage, and then maybe parts of our exhausts. So over here we've got our glass, so our windshields and the rear quarter glass, the headlights here, and our driver's and passenger side glass. Here are our decals, and looking a little old. Now, one thing that we are missing, it seems, is the instructions. So we'll have to go online and see if we can find those and print those out. All in all, this is a really good quality kit. It's obviously an older kit, and it's got lots of parts, but it's very detailed and very well molded. Okay, so I did find the instructions online and printed them out. Many of the instructions are actually available online, and so we'll review these. Got some photographs of the finished model there. And so here are some details here about the car. As you can see, there are, it's fairly long. Picture of the engine there. Okay, so we start off with the chassis and all the parts that go on there, including the front and part of the engine bay there. Some details here about the colors. That's how to paint the shaft. So we've got some additional parts here for, this is our brake, or sorry, our pedal box there. And then there's the shaft tunnel, center console. And over here we've got those parts going in, seat racks and so on, going into the chassis. Obviously this is a larger kit, so a lot more details. We've got some steering happening here, and then looks like our front steering rack being put together, and then our suspension there, as well as our uprights, brakes, wheel hubs and so on. Now here's our looks like this is the front still, and lots and lots of detail here, as you can tell, and it's always easy to do this in 1/12 scale. And then here are our rear suspension parts there, as well as the wheel hubs going together. And there's our torsion bar. The rest of the springs going on will be mounted on our chassis. And then you actually get the springs and screws there. We've got our engine. It's the flat 6 being put together there. And with our gearbox, the transaxle. Then we've got our distributor cap, and here it kind of shows you how to loop them through. And so additional parts are going on the engine here, and finally our fan, and then all our belts and pulleys. So it's going to be a very detailed engine. I've got all the intercooler. This is a turbo engine, and the exhaust ports going on there. So here's the actual turbo. As you can see, lots and lots of parts there, and shows you how to mount it there with the turbo unit. That goes onto the engine, and this those are some thick pipes. They've got thin pipes and thick pipes. Wow, lots and lots of detail here for this engine. Here's all the exhausts coming out here, and then we're finally mounting the engine into the chassis. Lots and lots of parts there. Okay, so some more engine parts. This is the for the oil tank. That's all mounted there. Water reserve that's in the back. And we start off with our the cabin with our dashboard here, and we've got some dials going on there. It's going to look very nice. We start to build some additional parts inside the front. So there's the battery and fire extinguisher. We've got the oil tank. That's going to be very nice and detailed there. And that all gets mounted in the front. The dashboard gets mounted there as well. And then looks like probably our, well, let's see here. We've got our radiator and fuel tank here. As you can see, lots and lots of detail and many parts, and that's all then mounted onto the front. And then we put on the cockpit, as well as the roll cage is built there. Now we start off with the body. So we've got some parts here for the body, all going on for the rear, including bumper and lights. And then we've got the engine hood there, or the tail, and we've got our hinges, and all the glass gets mounted there. Then the hood gets mounted to the body, and shows you how to seal those with a hot screwdriver. You build the front of the car, including the bumper and headlights. There's classic Porsche lights, and wire mesh gets put into the front and sides. We're going to build our doors. These doors look like they're going to open. We've got some hinges here, same on the other side. And then we're going to mount the body onto the chassis, including the doors. We've got some ducts there, and then our wheels, our windshield wipers, some body panels here. Okay, and then we've got our decals. We've got the paint and decal guide, and that's the front and back. There's the top. So that's one version of doing it. Here's the parts listing. As you can see, many parts, the ones we went through. This is the color code there for painting. And then here's the other side of that, again with the color code for painting. Lots and lots of details. It's very well molded. It's obviously a big model. It's going to be a great build. And then there's a scan of the decals. So all in all, it's a great model. There's a newer version out there that has photo etch parts. Obviously more expensive, but that's a great model.